So how do you know if you're forcing a relationship or if you're having a spiritual assignment? It's always a spiritual assignment. There's always a spiritual assignment. There's always something to learn. There's always an opportunity for growth in all relationships, particularly romantic relationships. But when that learning is no longer happening, when one person's growing and the other person isn't, when there is a leap spiritually and the other person is not leaping with, there can be a disconnect in the learning opportunity. The idea that we could be forcing a relationship, if you have a sense that you're forcing a relationship, it's likely that you are. It doesn't mean that the relationship isn't right. It means that you are trying to make it right rather than allowing it to show you what's right. Rather than trying to make someone who you think they should be, allow them to teach you who you really are here to step into. Not teach you, but reflect back to you who you are here to step into. Rather than trying to change someone else, put the mirror back on yourself and say, what is it within me that is ready to develop more? What is it within me that is ready to grow more? If you show up like that and you keep growing and you keep rising up and they don't rise with you, there's your answer. If you keep focusing your side of the street, keeping your side of the street clean, what is it that I got to work through here? How can I show up more? And they say, oh, okay, I'm going to be a reflection of her new shift. And I'm going to grow as a result of her growth. And I'm going to be new because of this development within her. Then you are both energetically growing together. If you're here and he's not growing with, there's your answer. There's your answer. Stop trying to, if you're trying to force him to get here with you, you are forcing the relationship. Put the focus right back on top to you. Change your inner work, your inner life, reflecting that mirror back onto yourself. And if he starts to vibrate at a higher frequency as you do, you know the answer. We have the ability within us to grow regardless of our circumstances, regardless of another person's reaction to us. We have the chance to grow no matter what is happening around us. If we are in a lockdown, if we are in a relationship that feels stagnant, if we are in a career path that is new, wherever we may be in our own personal life development, we are growing. And as we stay in the devotion and the commitment of that personal growth, that spiritual development, that inner awakening, we will wake up every single day new. Because those subtle shifts that we take to grow, those subtle shifts that we take to move ourselves forward with the energy of a positive vibration, a positive frequency, those subtle shifts that we make in the moment to accept our feelings as they are and to breathe through them, those subtle shifts that we make in the moment to choose again, those subtle shifts that we make in the moment to perceive our spiritual relationship assignments as an opportunity for ourselves to grow rather than a chance to push somebody else further, we become new. So as a being on a spiritual path, you have a choice every single day to step in to a newness with each subtle shift. This isn't about being the perfect spiritual student. This isn't about trying to force other people to conspire with your ideas. This isn't about having all of the affirmation from the world reflected back to you. This is about you committing to turning inward daily, you committing to tuning into that presence within yourself every single day to create that subtle shift that allows you to be new. If you want a relationship, be unapologetic about it, because you coming on right now and saying to me, your old friend, your teacher, your sister, saying to me very publicly, I don't have anything I want to manifest, when I'm sitting here knowing exactly what you want to manifest, means that you are diminishing your desires because of the fear of not being able to manifest them. And I know you well enough that you can't come out here without getting a real Gabby ass kicking. And here it is. You, my love, have a desire that you may be downplaying. And I want to call it out right now. And anyone else out there that thinks they might be, someone goes, boom. Anyone else out there who thinks they might be downplaying their desires, I want to see a high five, because I want you to straight up give it to me. Give it to me. And I see that even with myself. You know, I have a desire and I'm keep saying like, well, you know, I'm open to something else if it's not that. And it's like, I am open to creative possibilities and I will stay receptive, but I don't want to take away what my desire is. I don't want to diminish my desire. I don't want to minimize it, right? But the message for everybody watching is, if you're playing down your desire, then you're very, very, very actively telling the universe that you don't believe you're worthy of what you want. That's the work here. Accepting that you are worthy of what you desire. Because when we talk about surrender, we need to release what our plans were. And it says, I am defenseless and at peace. So, right, sometimes when we have a plan that we think needs to happen in a certain way, we defend against anything that is not that plan. So releasing the secret to prayer is to forget what you think you need. That is one of my favorite messages from A Course in Miracles. The secret to prayer is to forget what you think you need. So releasing this relationship is going to give you the opportunity to allow what is of the highest good to come to you. It may be her, maybe somebody else. I don't know. And I'm not going to take away the pain. Pain's real. Pain's real. The pain's real, right? Let's just be okay with the pain. We do everything to avoid those feelings of loss, the feelings of grief, the feelings of abandonment. We do everything we can to avoid those feelings. We go into firefighter mode, as they say in IFS therapy. We want to just like fix it, control to fix it, or drink to fix it, or get into another relationship to fix it. And we go alarm clock, alarm bells ringing, fix. I can't feel this pain. But if you just give yourself a week or so to just be in the fucking pain and feel the pain and just be upset about the pain. Sorry to the children out there, I said the F word. But be in the pain and just allow yourself to just experience it with love and compassion for yourself and genuine care for yourself. You'll have a lot more resilience. You'll come out the other side. This is the message I think that just keeps coming up. The difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. Looking at these relationships, not just with others, but with yourself, the parts of yourself that may be undeveloped or unresolved, and allowing those parts to be a relationship that will reveal to you what it is that you still can bring forth to heal and show up for that healing and show up for yourself. Most everybody on this show comes on with something that they're trying to control, an outcome they're trying to control, a relationship they're trying to control. And the only reason that we try to control is because we don't trust that there is a plan greater than our own. We don't trust that there is a higher power guiding us. We don't trust that when we're in alignment, we'll be led to what's better than what we think. We don't believe that. We don't trust that. But anybody that's watching me, and you have my book on your bed, there's a part of you that knows that. There's a big part of you that believes that. And so the work for you, my love, is just to continue to cultivate the belief system that your controlling ways are getting in the way of what is of the highest good. Go read the chapters. There's 2 chapters in Super Attractor that I want you to read. I want you to read Do Less and Attract More. And I want you to read, I want you to read the whole book, but I want you to study Do Less and Attract More, and There's More Than Enough to Go Around. Those 2 chapters. So when we are attracting any kind of person, what we're attracting often is a person who is going to shine light on whatever parts of our own shadow need to be healed. Okay. And so you've told me in your own words that you're very confident, that you want to be on your own, that you don't want to have too much attention. And you even said in your own words, I'm attracted to unavailable men. Okay. So that is a beautiful opportunity to shine the mirror back on yourself and say, okay, what is it within me that still believes I'm unworthy of love? It doesn't necessarily mean that this current guy is your guy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he's your perfect match at this moment because he's revealing to you what still needs to be healed. So it's not, what I wouldn't hope for you to be with an unavailable man just because it was sexy. I would want for you to be in a loving, nurturing relationship where you felt supported and you felt held and you felt felt willing to give over your energy to somebody as well, right? There is a belief system that we carry from that young age up until this point in time that I've brought up here many a time. I'm unlovable, I'm inadequate, I'm not worthy of love, right? And it replays and repurposes in all of our relationships. And we create all these patterns of, I'm totally cool on my own and I love my work and I love my son and I'm totally fine and I'm totally great because I don't need anybody, but I actually don't want to not need anybody, right? So the next best piece of advice I could suggest to you would be to do some deeper therapeutic work, especially since you're a coach, because it's only going to serve you as a coach. But most importantly, I want you to be able to meet your clients in the most grounded, whole place that you could be. Okay. Keep coaching, keep doing what you're doing because you're going to teach from where you are. But I want you to keep developing because the more you develop, the more you have to share. So I would recommend seeking out a EMDR therapist or seeking out a somatic experiencing therapist. That would be really getting into the body and how the brain-body connection and how you might be storing these old archaic ancient wounds that need to be resolved, okay? The EMDR could really kick this. Sometimes if it's not a big traumatic event, it can be really healed in a few, 5 EMDR sessions. The relationship with the universe and your guys is like any other relationship. You're trying to make something happen, trying to force something to happen. Ultimately, or trying to force somebody to communicate with you or connect with you. They are like, it's not a vibrational match. So my love, your job right now is to get back into vibrational alignment. That's it. And you're asking me, how do I get back into alignment? Go back to Super Attractor. Use that choose again method all day long. Use the meditations. Do my meditation challenge, 21 days. Just honestly, if you do the meditation challenge, baby, you're going to walk out of that. It starts Sunday. You're going to walk out of that and you're going to be seeing signs everywhere. It's just about being in alignment. And feeling that connection to the universe comes when we are fully aligned. Now, you have many reasons right now to be out of alignment, and like we all do. We all do. We're all suffering. We're all going through a major issue right now. We have many obstacles for being out of alignment. That's why here, I want everybody to go through it with me because the goal is for us to get back into alignment. The only way for us to make it through this time is through that connection, through that alignment, through that relationship to our higher power. The universe gave you this beautiful gift of no boyfriend right now. And so with no boyfriend, what do you have? You can get closer to your spiritual connection. And spirit became my boyfriend. That's the chapter I want you to read. I want you to start from chapter 1. I guarantee you this Spirit Junkie has every single answer that you need in it. That book was written for you. When I really surrendered to let spirit become my boyfriend, I was single. I was on my meditation pillow. I was like beaming. I was going deeper in my practices. I was just surrendering to the fact that my spiritual foundation was my love, that my spiritual connection was where my romance lied. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have a magical romance and a partner that's going to be excellent. Because when you get this first, that you will continue to attract the right match for you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of quarantine relationship things coming up. So let's be real about that. And we have this opportunity when we are in relationship to co-regulate, which could be the opportunity to help one another energetically regulate through our own experience, our own energy, our own field. But when we're both triggered, right? When maybe there's one of you that's more available emotionally and one that's not, but now you're both triggered, it can be really chaotic, I imagine. Correct? So needing him to be emotionally available is your child wound needing attachment. It's attachment that you as a child did not receive. Okay. So when we do not receive that attachment bond that we desperately need as children, and many of us do not, because look, nobody gave anyone the handbook, although we have them now, thank God. But most of our parents didn't have that in their own childhood, right? So we were left without having that proper attachment. Without that proper attachment, we look for it throughout our lives in order to feel safe, or we avoid it because we don't believe that we can receive it, or all the different ways that we act out. So right now, your little girl self is looking for him to provide a level of attachment and safety that really, truly, my love, only you can really develop for yourself. So this comes back to the work. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't want that and ask of that of your partner, but you have to really recognize that it must come from you first in order to be in a grounded enough, safe enough place to be able to receive it from him. Because right now it's the little girl who doesn't feel that she had enough bond, enough love, enough attachment that's actually reaching out. Whereas if it were your adult resource self who had brought herself back to safety, brought herself back to a place of regulation, coming to him and saying, hey man, listen, it'd be great to be more vulnerable. It'd be great to be more connected. He'd be able to meet you where you are. But he can't meet little girl. So right now, all of that neglect, all of that fear, all of that lack of bonding, lack of attachment, lack of connection, the ways, there's so many different ways that our needs were not met as infants. All of that's being activated right now. My first step for you is this is a longer journey of redeveloping a relationship with that child self. But the best thing you could do right now is in those moments when you're thinking, I need more from him, ask yourself, what could I be giving myself? What can I be giving myself right now? And how can I be loving myself right now? And how can I, and even hold the vision of yourself holding the little Alexa, yes. Holding baby Alexa, holding little Alexa, or caring for little Alexa, and asking yourself in those moments, what does little Alexa need right now? And Alexa, the more you meditate and the more you bring yourself back to a grounded state and a place of serenity, the easier it will be for him to be around you and the more open he can be. Okay? Because he's not feeling safe around your feelings of unsafety. Does that make sense?
We've had this question before in different ways. How do you know when a relationship is over, particularly a romantic relationship? When you are no longer learning and growing. Relationships, particularly romantic relationships, are divine spiritual assignments for growth, for healing, and for a collaborative effort of transformation. If one partner continues to heal and the other partner is still stagnant, there's your answer. If both of you are stagnant and there is no more room for growth, there is an answer. If you can face this relationship and say, well, actually, I think there's more for me to heal here. I think there's more for me to learn here. There's more growth for me. This partner is still in collaboration with my growth. They're growing with me. There's your answer. You have to get real with yourself. Am I holding on just because of fears of being alone? Or am I holding on because I don't know what the world is without this person? Or am I holding on because I'm actually meant to continue to learn and grow? Really ask yourself with an honest inquiry, what is in this for me from the standpoint of spiritual growth and development? You got me? Girlfriend. When we feel as though we have lost something because somebody couldn't get to where we wanted them to be, or because they couldn't show up for us the way we hoped they could, it triggers a wound. And what do we do when we feel wounded? We project out what we don't want to feel. So while I know that you love them, and I trust that you don't want to judge them, your judgment of them is a form of self-protection. I don't want to let you be another person in my life who is going to disappoint me. So you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to make you wrong. I'm going to make you not as spiritual as me, not as evolved as I am. And I'm not making jokes about it. It's what we all do. Exactly. I've been doing it all. I mean, I got wounded recently and I've been like projecting. It's what we do. We don't want to feel the wound. And that's why the second step of judgment detox is honor the wound. So I'm going to give you something. I have a judgment detox digital course. In that course, step 2, I do emotional freedom technique, tapping. And you see it in the book, but it's a lot more fun when you do it with me, okay? And you can tap with me on the wound and clear this. But you'll use it for everything. But this is just a beautiful next step in your trauma recovery because, baby, you're in such a safe place right now in your recovery that you have the ability to hear me. If you weren't where you are, you'd be sitting there be like, right? Or you wouldn't even have gotten on. You'd be like, I don't need this. I don't need this, girl. I don't need this, okay? You wouldn't have finished judgment detox. So my love, you are a rock star. You have done, the bravest thing in the world is to show up for the places that scare us. And people who recover and live on a recovering path of trauma. And listen, everybody's traumatized, and some more than others. Trauma with a big T and trauma with a little t, okay? Hello. But we're all living through trauma right now. And particularly those of us who have had childhood wounds, they're going to get kicked up when everything's out of control at this time. Yeah. Okay? So your connection, your safety, your friendships, the people that were meant to care for you, the people that you relied on, if they change, that's going to kick shit up for you. So you can also practice the judgment detox, all 6 steps on them, because each step is meant to release the wound, right? Witnessing them for the first time, forgiveness, meditating through it, right? All of the steps are designed to release you and your ego attachment. Yeah. Because whenever we judge, it's because our ego is projecting out what we don't want to feel. Here's your mantra. Every day I'm getting better. Every day I'm feeling better. And when I feel good, good comes back to me. And I don't even want to use the language I'm getting better, because you are better. You are great. Every day I'm feeling better. Mm-hmm. And I feel good, and good comes back to me. Remember, it's good to feel good. The key to manifesting is to feel good. So you don't have to do anything else other than what you're already doing, which is greater and greater personal growth and development. You have 2 choices at this time. And I've said this over and over on this show. 1, you numb out and avoid. 2, you go deeper. If we go deeper at this time, we continue to develop our personal growth practices. We go deeper in our therapy. We go deeper in our personal growth and spiritual enlightenment in whatever form that comes for us. When we make that commitment, we're going to come out freer than we were before. So what's happening, baby, is that you have a lot of self-awareness, okay? A lot. And you've recognized that you don't want to bring your baggage from your past relationships into this new one. So you're really well on your way to doing it right. Having that acknowledgement of, I don't want to bring me with me into this, my old me with me into this new relationship, okay? Right? So there's a few things that can happen. I mean, there's nothing sexier than your authentic truth. So as you start to get closer to this person, I would recommend saying, hey, listen, here are some of my tendencies in relationships, and I'm really working on them right now. But if you see it happen, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to call me out. It's super sexy to be real. Okay? It's super sexy to be authentic. Well, here's the other thing that's really important is that, what happens in romantic relationships is that this is our Course in Miracles messaging from a metaphysical text of Course in Miracles, which is that sometimes we can make that romantic partner an idol. And when we make an idol of anyone, if they do anything that's not perfect, the idol falls and we fall too, okay? And this is what A Course in Miracles calls a special relationship. And so when we make someone more special, it's as if they're more special than we are. And so we have to recognize that the real love that we're longing for most has to come from our spiritual connection. And when we start to develop that knowing that no one outside of us can save us, then we can let people be who they need to be. We can let things unfold exactly as they need to unfold. We can let ourselves mess up and trust that it'll be okay no matter what. Because we don't see that our safety and our security and everything lies in that one person. All relationships are assignments for personal growth and healing. Even this, whatever, next door that we want to curse at and say bad words about. Okay. So right now, you have said a few things that lead me to believe that you're more mad at yourself than you are at him. Now, let me take you there with being a very gentle, loving, kind, and compassionate, holding you in so much love, okay? So you said that you don't feel safe in your home, but this has been going on for years. He has been sort of, continuously attacking you. And there's part of you that sticks around for it, right? Now, of course, you don't want to have to move. You don't have to leave your home. I understand that completely. But there's a core wound being triggered here. And it's something about not being heard, not being respected, not being honored, and not being acknowledged, okay? And then the bigger thing is that you, your higher self, the best, most resourced adult part of yourself, hasn't had the ability to really take care of you in whatever, whether that's moving, whether that's calling the police, whatever it is, okay? So this person, while they may seem like a devil in disguise, they're actually your greatest opportunity to look more closely at what is being activated and triggered within you, because this person is a constant reminder of whatever it is that you need to heal so that you can feel more free. Now, the things I'm suggesting are big, loaded things, not being able to speak up for yourself, not feeling safe. These are big things that will require potentially more therapeutic work or a deeper dive with some kind of coaching or counseling. And I always will say that to every single person on this show. Everybody get a therapist. We're living in a pandemic. Y'all get a therapist now, okay? Get more than one, or a social worker, or whatever it is that you can do to work more closely to go further. And it may even come in the form of a spiritual self-help book or a friend that can hold you in your change and your transformation. But if you're in a situation that's been going on for years and you stay stuck in that same situation, the only thing that's happening really is that you haven't changed. So let's take a moment to bring it down and acknowledge what this is. It's a spiritual assignment. And we can let's start to change your energy today and thank the neighbor for revealing to you just some more things that need to be healed. Just keep saying thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That shift will do two things. One, it will open you up to receive more guidance so you can go deeper in your healing journey.
Right.
And two, he'll probably lay off. Because if you start praying for him and thanking him and sending him love and gratitude for the beautiful assignment that he has provided you, his energy will change. So I want you to do that for both reasons. Your decision-making and your taking care of yourself can't come from that part of you that's afraid and scared and unable to care for yourself, right? It has to come from that adult, resourced, spiritually aligned person, okay? So I want you to really do the work right now to be in gratitude for the assignment that has been presented to you. Pray, send him love and gratitude and compassion for all that he has given you. And be open to what guidance you receive. Guidance will likely come in the form of maybe a new apartment shows up. But let me just be very clear with you, Jennifer, a new apartment isn't the solution.
Right.
The solution is you changing your energetic field so that you can coexist with other humans and feel safe. Right now, just the first step is to thank him for being an assignment for you to take care of yourself. For you to remember to take care of yourself, okay? And then let's just wait and see what is revealed. Just wait and see what's revealed. And that's the big thing for everybody watching, is that sometimes when we don't know how to change, all we have to do is just get back into the right-minded thinking of love. And then the universe is conspiring to support us. Let's pray with that together as a community. Just place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly, honoring all the feelings that are up for you, good, bad, uncomfortable, all the anxieties of the world, and just respecting your emotional state, no matter where it is in this moment now. And take a deep breath in and respect your emotions. And breathe into them. And on the exhale, you can allow them to just release gently, believing in this moment that we are worthy of feeling good, that we are worthy of the love within ourselves, to respect ourselves, to respect our inner vibrational state, to respect our happiness, our joy, our thoughts that we think, the words that we choose, the relationships that we choose to engage in, all in the pursuit of feeling good. When we give ourselves permission to feel good, our world changes. By changing our inner landscape, our experience adjusts. Expecting and knowing that in this show today, we have the opportunity to awaken to a good feeling vibration, a good feeling emotion, a good feeling energetic state, and welcoming that shift in our perception, that shift in our energy, that shift in our being, that shift in our force field. We open up today to welcome a miracle, in this 1 hour show, to awaken to the presence of the goodness within us. Everyone watching, if you want that good feeling emotion right now, say yes, yes, yes. Take that in with a deep breath. And on the exhale, let it go. And when you're ready, open your eyes.